Hey everybody, Jim Powers and John Huff from Gateway Sports Venue as we break down the week inside the Huddle on the High School Sports Caravan on Gateway Sports Venue and on the Big 550 KTRS. And John, just, a week I think that kind of went status quo last week, except, and we're at the home of the Huskies today, Rittner High School. I just got done talking to Coach Gregory, but they come out with a monster win against Parkway North.
Oh, man. Well, not only that, it was just one of the best games, if not the best games to watch all season long. 56-49, both great teams, and it just came down to whoever could execute at the end, and that was Rittner. And, I mean, they have an exciting team this year, and just – they're fun to watch and just really tough to beat as well.
That their quarterback, man, is probably, and we were just talking about him, defensive guy a couple years ago, needed to move him into the quarterback position, and he has just grown into a natural-born leader, and he's really doing a fantastic job running this offense.
He has. A year ago, he was a pretty good quarterback a year ago, didn't really have much stats. They were more of a run team, but this year – definitely more of a pass team, and he's earned it, and he literally has earned it. He just got a scholarship from Lindenwood University. It's just a great college to go to, and not a bad first-time offer as well.
So you had that game last week, and then a lot of no surprises, no shocks. But this week, and we'll look at the top 10 poll real quick. In the state, really not a lot of changes. Everybody pretty much stayed status quo. One team I want to talk a little bit about is McClure South Berkeley. We really haven't talked a lot about them in our first couple inside the huddles, but boy, I tell you what, they are slowly but surely building a powerhouse up in Normandy.
They certainly have been, and they got a lot of great athletes, and also, they've had great athletes for a long time, but I remember. They were talking about that they finally have a really good line, and I think that's been the difference for them. They just kind of have everything that they need to be a successful team, and 5-0. I think they only have 2 games remaining, I believe. So not what you want. You want to play not as many games as possible, but anyway, that's just a sign of, catch them while you can. Just they're fun to watch.
They are a lot of fun to watch. And I echo what you said about the offensive line, but I think they're getting it done defensively.
They are.
Their defense is as salty of a group in that level that I've seen in a really, really long time. And I think it's going to be the defense. If they're going to make a long run in the state playoffs, their defense is going to lead the way, especially that secondary.
Great secondary, and plus defense. That's usually what it comes down to in the playoffs. But I think that's when they're especially going to get tested. They've pretty much handled everybody on their schedule, which tells me, they may not play the best schedule, but definitely when they get into districts, and they are in a tough district, that's when they'll get tested, and that's when I'll be really interested to see what they can do.
A lot of jockeying in Class 5, really not a lot of changes up top in the state poll, but a little bit of shuffling around in the bottom part of the poll between Parkway Central, Parkway North, Ladue. They're just all sorts of shuffling around down there.
Yeah, it's kind of been the top, we talked about it before, they're kind of like the top 3 Class 4 schools in our area, and it's a little hard to believe that Parkway North is 3-3, but you could kind of see it coming a little bit. I think a lot of people were kind of maybe expecting Kirkwood to beat him, even though it was only 7-0. But I'll be honest. I picked Parkway North to beat Rittner here last week, and I was close.
You were close.
Even if they were on the road to an undefeated team, but I just thought Parkway North, they're more experienced and whatever, and arguably they have more touted players. Yeah. But that ultimately doesn't matter. But and then Parkway Central, they're 5-1. They took care of business last week, I believe, against Clayton. But then, I guess you got to put Ladue above those, because Ladue beat Parkway Central beat Parkway North. Although I'd love to see Parkway North play Ladue. But so that's really what's going on in Class 4 right now.
We're playing the 6 degrees of relationships and all that kind of fun stuff. All right, so let's talk this week. I think the biggest game on the docket, the Huskies, the Flyers, 2 unbeatens. Somebody's going to suffer their first loss this week.
Well, I don't know if you're leading me into who they say.
I'm leading you dead into it.
I think Lindbergh is going to win. I'm here on campus at Rittner right now, so they can all look at me right now, even though there's only one guy right over there. But here's why. I haven't gotten a chance to see Rittner yet, although they look really good in Huddle.
Yeah.
But I've seen Lindbergh play Hazelwood Central, and they beat them 43-26 at Hazelwood Central. I would like to see Rittner to try and do that. Yeah. So that's not all of it, though. I mean, he got a great, big offensive, defensive line both ways. Great coaching staff, and Nathan Norman, second year here, he's done a tremendous job of turning this program around. And then they got a couple really good wide receivers in David Grana, who just picked up his first D1 offer, and then Rico Payton, who is a tremendous, quick athlete. So, and they got a good overall team, and they're at home. I like their chances better.
You're going one way. I'm going to go the other way because I never count Hoyt Gregory's crew out. And seeing what they did last week, yeah. I think this game comes down to the offensive line. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if the Flyers have seen an O-line as big and as salty as this Rittner bunch. 600 yards last week, total rushing. Yeah. I mean, just a tremendous week. I like Rittner in this one, but I think it's going to be an outstanding ball game. I think it's going to be a one-touchdown game, but I'm going to give the edge to the Huskies, and just not because we're here. Right, I know these guys want to get that monkey off their back a little bit because they've always hit this type of this round of the schedule to where they've either lost to Kirkwood, they've lost to Parkway North, and it's led them to losing a couple at the end of the year. I don't think Rittner is going to do that this year. I think they got a chance to run the table.
We'll see. I mean, if they do that, then that's awesome because, I think they may have, you said monkey off their back. I think they may have that. I mean, they've been pretty good the last, several years when, they've, maybe not been as good as the next, but they've always been around. And, maybe they don't feel they get the respect that, people should give them. I mean, well, I think I was a little late to the party in that, to be honest. I wasn't literally going to rank them, I think, in week 5 or 4, but that was when Pattonville beat Kirkwood. So I'm like, okay, not your turn yet, but they were in my top 10 now. So there's that, and I mean, if they beat Lindbergh, then they'll definitely move up in the rankings for sure.
Give me one more good game this week.
One more good game. Ooh. Well, I'm going to Pattonville at Hazelwood Central.
That's gonna be a great one.
Yes, and I mean, Pattonville, they're 3-2. Exciting offense. Caleb Elby at quarterback, and then Hazelwood Central. This will be their first big test since since Lindbergh beat them, and I think it'll be a close game. But I'm actually I think Pattonville might squeeze this one out. Who knows? I'd like to see them maybe prove that, but again, I won't be surprised if Hazelwood Central loses at Hazelwood Central. Who knows? Maybe they're that loss to Lindbergh with a team like that. I think they may be done with losing. Who knows?
Yeah, that may have been their wake up call. I love Pattonville. I think Steve Smith has done a great job. I think Coach Chinaki has done a great job, and I think that Lindbergh game was a wake up call. Yeah. I like the Hawks. Once again, another very, very close game. I think that one's going to be a lot of fun to watch as well. Where can people catch you and find all your stuff?
GatewaySportsVenue.com, and I'm on Twitter at GSV_STL, and then same thing on Instagram as well. So, and then my own Twitter is John Huff on Twitter at _Johnner_. Yeah.
Awesome stuff, John. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week. John Huff joins me as always as we break down last week and also get you ready for this week right here on HighSchoolSportsCaravan.com, Gateway Sports Venue, and the Big 550 KTRS. We'll talk to you next week.